Well, good morning, everybody. Isn't this a great day in the neighborhood? Isn't this a great day for streetcars? Absolutely. Well, I want to welcome you all to this bi-weekly press briefing. And I'm delighted to be here with our director of the Department of Transportation, our District of Columbia Department of Transportation, Terry Bellamy, who I think does an absolutely terrific job leading our transportation efforts here in the city. And of course, we are here at the DC Streetcar testing and commissioning site right here in Anacostia. And we're standing, of course, in front of, I know y'all figured it out, but we are standing in front of this beautiful streetcar. Isn't it wonderful to have a streetcar back in the District of Columbia? The vehicle that we have behind us was delivered yesterday. And we expect a second streetcar to arrive this morning. And actually, we think it might arrive right around the time that we finish this press briefing this morning. That being the case, if that's true, you'll get a chance to see the streetcar actually being brought here. The third vehicle will be delivered here tomorrow, which will complete the transition from WMATA's Greenbelt facility, where they've been in storage now for a while, quite some time. The movement of these vehicles to Anacostia marks a significant milestone for the streetcar program. Residents will soon see them in action, going through their paces here along South Capitol Street. And I, of course, am just as anxious to see these vehicles start service as District of Columbia residents have been waiting patiently for this to happen, for our first line to be able to start along H Street and Benning Road. We have said all along that the streetcar effort would start in earnest this year in 2013, and we're still on track to be able to do that. And I know our chief engineer and our director, we are still on track, right? On track, sir. Yeah, no pun intended. We are, moving the streetcars here for testing also moves our city forward in achieving the goals and strategies of two cornerstones of our administration. That is, achieving the priorities that have been set forward in the One City Action Plan, and also, of course, in the Sustainable DC initiative, which has 143 initiatives that will be worked on over the next 20 years. In the One City Action Plan, specifically in the section entitled Improving the Quality of Life for All, Strategy 7, you all know exactly where that is, right? Strategy 7 calls for greater access to a variety of transportation options to create a more sustainable city, lower traffic congestion, and provide residents with a convenient access to home, to work, and of course to be able to play. And then when you go to the Sustainable DC plan, one of the goals of the 20-year plan calls for the district to improve transportation connections and access through efficient, integrated, and affordable transit systems by completing a 37-mile network for the new streetcar. We are our first, I won't say first leg, but the first group of efforts will be around a 22-mile system, which is the priority. And then, of course, we will work over the years to try to reach a 37-mile system. Using this location, as opposed to a place outside the district, to conduct the initial testing of the streetcars, I think will help DDOT certify that they are safe, and that they will be able to demonstrate that much faster than they otherwise would. This will save us time to eventually get them to the Union Station to Oklahoma Avenue. For those who don't know, the first line will be right around 3rd Street, 3rd and 8th Street Northeast, and will run out to Oklahoma Avenue, right in front of Spingarn High School, which will be also the site of our first car barn in the modern era here in the District of Columbia. Some of you may have seen the schematics of the car barn. We've been demonstrating those at our budget town hall meetings. We'll have another one tomorrow evening in Ward 7 at the Department of Employment Services on Minnesota Avenue. So if you'd like to see the schematics, the renderings of the car barn, please come out and join us tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. Just a little bit of background about the 3 streetcars. They were manufactured by Anacostia, which is in the Czech Republic. They are 66 feet long, 8 feet wide, and can hold, believe it or not, 157 passengers, 37 more people than a Metro subway car, which is 2 feet wider and 9 feet longer. While they were in storage in Greenbelt, they were moved every 4 to 6 weeks, and like all mechanical vehicles, they were meant to drive, meant to be driven, not to just sit there idle, which means they would have deteriorated. Last March and September, the engineers traveled from Europe to our area, to the metropolitan Washington area, to inspect the streetcars, and we are grateful for the fact that they made needed repairs where they had to, since we've had the streetcars now for some time. When I bring up Director Bellamy, he's going to talk a little bit more about that process for a few minutes. I'm also delighted to announce that the DC Streetcar program is planning to hire its first 8 operations and maintenance employees. That's 8 employees this May. This is the 1st of May, so this month, and June. And it is the start of the jobs that will be available for DC to be able to become a part of a career, hopefully careers, in running our streetcar system here in the District of Columbia. Anyone who's interested in a job, like Mr. Sherwood, would you be interested in a job with our streetcar system? Probably not as much as you make, sir. But but this is about commitment and loyalty to the city. In any event, you're perseverating. In any event, it's an exciting time for us here in the District of Columbia to be able to get to this stage. And that having been said, I want to bring up now the Director of the Department of Transportation, who has overseen this effort up to today and will continue to do so as we move forward to implementation later this year. Please join me in welcoming our Director of the District's Department of Transportation, Terry Bellamy.
Thank you. Good morning. I want to thank Mayor Gray for having the support and confidence of the DDOT team, and I'd like to give thanks to City Administrator Alan Liu for the support that he's given the DDOT team, and to acknowledge the team that's been working on this project for the last several years, including our chief engineer, our operation manager, along with our consultant team of HDR. We're very pleased also today to have representatives from Anacostia from the Czech Republic that are here, will be here with us as we bring these cars into operations on the test track. They are on the other end of the project waiting for the next car to arrive to begin the offload. It is a great honor anytime that we can move forward with this project. We think that the benefit that it would bring to the Washington region would be outstanding. To have the opportunity to ride in a first-class premium transit system along our roadway is our goal, and to continue to give residents of the district an opportunity to use alternative transportation instead of riding in an automobile by themselves. During this same period of time, we're very, very glad that we were able to use local contractors to help us in the development of this track, this initial line track, as well as the opportunity to employ local residents to be able to be a part of this outstanding program. As we move forward, one of the goals is to continue to look at the technology that is being developed across the country. Many don't realize that the District of Columbia streetcar program will be the largest streetcar program in the nation as we continue. If you look at most of the cities that are getting into the streetcar program, no one has put in a very ambitious program of 37 miles of streetcar in their particular city. We're very hopeful and excited that the DC Streetcar and its brand will be looked upon throughout the United States. What will happen today is our second car, as the mayor indicated, will be here, will be delivered with the third car shortly after. The cars, and we've been all over to see their brothers and sisters. When we got these cars, Seattle and Portland also got these cars. So we've ridden on the cars. We're looking forward to get them just pumped up, ready to go. And then we've got 3 more cars that will be coming in later this year. So to bring our fleet up to 6. So our team is running and running fast. One point, and I was talking to Mr. Bunn, and I want to show this, is that when people think about streetcar, they think about the old streetcar. There's only one catenary line that run these cars. And when you see us on our test track, one line. So the technology is getting there. And DDOT in the District of Columbia is working to bring the latest technology in our street. I want to again thank the mayor, and we look forward to continue to give our communication up with the community. And I stress for DC residents to please, as we start recruiting, apply for our positions. The number one thing about this is to create jobs, and we think that DC Streetcar will create jobs. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Director Bellamy. We'll be happy to take questions that you may have at this point. Yes. Wait a minute. Questions from the media now, okay? We have 3. And then we have, what, 3 more in order?
I am unaware of that.
Yeah.
No.
First 3.
The first 3 are here. Were bought from the Czech Republic.
The second 3?
It's bought from Oregon, our work, and Portland, Oregon. Yes.
We're buying America.
When we spec the cars are run. It's just like any manufacturer. There's many manufacturers that can run on our tracks.
I apologize, I was multitasking. When will people start riding on 8th Street?
Our goal is to have the cars on 8th Street this fall. Once the Federal Transit Administration certified, we'll go in revenue service.
You think that'll be by the end of the year?
That's our goal by the end of the year.
How realistic is that goal?
It's a very realistic goal, but we've got to continue to work with Federal Transit Administrator. The Federal Transit Administrator is the go-ahead, but we will be running these cars on 8th Street in our pre-test this fall.
One more question, Mayor. If all goes well, is it 37 miles in 6
Yes.
What is the goal of getting 37 miles done? Is there a goal?
Our first goal is to get 22 miles going. Based on the work that we're doing right now, we're looking at 2019, 2020 is our goal. We've got a lot of studies, a lot of community outreach, and that's the goal we're working.
For those who don't know, I've been to Portland myself twice to see the system there, and it really is it is a phenomenal system. It's been around, of course, a lot longer than the system that we are establishing here in the District of Columbia, but I got a chance to talk to the residents of Portland. One person who had anything but positive, no one, let me put it that way, no one had anything negative to say about the streetcar system there. Just a quick anecdote, I was riding the streetcar there with the president of the streetcar line, and there were many passengers on there, and this lady overheard the conversation, and she turned around and said to him, she said, "Do you run the streetcars here in Portland?" And you could hear it coming, right? So I said, "Boy, I can't wait to hear this one." And he said, "Yes, ma'am, I do." You could hear the consternation in his voice. She said, "I just want to thank you for bringing the streetcar to my neighbor." You should have seen the relief on his face when it came out to be a positive comment. Matt. supposed to be yet.
No,
We don't know. I will say this again. This is Portland. It won't be the district. But when I was in Portland, 85% of their streetcar line was free because they were using it as an economic development stimulus. They were able to cite to us literally billions of dollars along their streetcar route of economic development that had occurred as a result of the streetcars and the streetcars bringing people to areas of the city that they otherwise would not have been in. Yeah, there's a lot of compatibility there. Yeah, we're not going to change any other colors, right? No, those are the colors. Yeah, our goal, Tom, was to try to create compatibility in our public conveyances. And as you will recall, we generated a lot of interest in taxi cabs a few months ago. There were some people who liked the color schemes we had, and there were many people who didn't. But it helped us get to a point of saying that it looks like people would like the taxi cabs also to be compatible with the rest of our conveyances. Yes.
Streetcar, is it going to be Ramada? Is it going to be similar to letting a contract for circulator bus? Or how is it going to be operating?
There's a task force that's still working on this, Mr. Brazil. We haven't made any final decision on it.
Right.
I know it'll start with DDOT.
In the beginning, it would be operated by DDOT with a contract with RevDev. It would be operated by DDOT. Our contractor is RevDev McDonald, which is a U.S.-based firm that will be operating. We currently have a task force, a mayor's task force, that's looking at governance and finance, and that report will probably be out later this year.
Will this result in the closure of any bus lines? Will this result in the closure of bus lines that use the same route?
I don't think we know of any impending closures at this stage, Mike. I think they'll be complementing one another.
Or will it be subsidized?
All transportation is subsidized, and this will be a subsidized service.
Hey, Mr. Mayor, most public transit riders probably haven't been on a car like this. What is going to be the difference or the advantage to them versus, say, taking a bus or metro as it currently exists?
Well, certainly in the beginning it'll be the novelty of it. And, then I think there'll be the convenience. One of the things I found in Portland on the two occasions I went there was there's just a much more neighborhood-friendly environment on the streetcars. They have light rail, which goes out into Multnomah County, and they have buses as well. But the interaction I found among the people who were on the streetcar was qualitatively different than it was on the buses and the light rail, and I think the same thing will prevail here. So we may get a kind of engagement didn't expect, and we'll be happy for people relating to one another that way. Mike.
Can I ask Director Bellamy just what exactly is going to happen on this site, and what preparation needed to be done here before the car is placed on the tracks on H Street, Benning Road?
Okay. What will happen here is that the cars will get on the test track, and we're using this as a test track. They will go through their pre-checks. We would then put them on the track and start running them. We'll actually run them on the track through their tests. Our safety oversight will look at it, as well as FTA on the test track. And then later on this year, after we train the drivers and mechanics will be trained at this location, then we'll put it on H Street.
The test track goes down by Berry Farm.
The test track runs parallel down to First Sterling, and it would turn around and come back. And so you would just see the cars running up and down the test track.
How are we going to get these large cars from over here to H Street?
The way they deliver them, they come on these flatbed trucks. After we finish testing, they'll put them back on the flatbed and take them to H Street.
Will you be told when that happens?
Oh, yeah, when that happens, there'll be another event.
We were hoping the media would help us carry these things over there. You seem to have the same theme this morning, Tom. Ms. Brazil.
Earlier in the year, you indicated you were going to make an overseas trip, and one of the purposes of that overseas trip was to secure foreign funds for the streetcar project. How would a foreign investor or foreign entity get a return on their investment if, in fact, the project is going to be subsidized and you don't know now what a ride is going to cost or any of the finances, or at least you're not releasing it now? I guess my concern is how much money are you trying to raise from overseas to finance the streetcar project, and how would that investor get a return on their investment?
Well, we don't have all the details worked out on that yet, but we'd be happy to give them a free ride on the streetcar if that would help them get interested in the District of Columbia. Well, you did in the beginning, and that is, we haven't worked out all the details in this one yet, Ms. Brazil. We anticipate making at least one trip later this year. Deputy Mayor Hoskins, he went back to China just a few weeks ago, and I'm sure the discussions have continued with them. But I don't think we're at a stage yet where we really can announce anything without potentially undermining the deal.
We announce anything, but it would seem to me, how can you go and seek foreign investors for a project if you don't know how much it's going to cost and how they will get a return on their investment? But do you know that you're just not sharing it?
Well, we know that the first effort, we've talked about this extensively, our first effort will be a $400 million investment. So we're able to talk about that, and we're able to talk about what we think will be the ultimate cost of it, but I don't think we can with precision say exactly how much this is going to cost when it's finished. That will continue to unfold as we implement the system and as we continue to do the engineering of the first 22 miles. I think we have enough information about it, though, to be able to talk in a fashion that will help people understand what they would be investing in and what the potential returns are, like additional economic development taking place here in the city. Any other questions on the streetcars?
Are we going to go on the streetcar after the general press conference or now?
Well, it's afterwards, right? After. Okay. All right. Tom? For those who were here for the streetcar portion of this, I guess we are concluded with that, and we're going to go on to other issues now. If you would, you're welcome to stay or do whatever you wish.
Mr. Mayor, you have a proposal to allow any person in the city to get a driver's license if he or she lives here. What is the proposal?
We are going to have a press conference tomorrow, Tom, and I hope you will come back when we will talk about the details of that. I don't want to get into the details of it today. We're still working through certain issues, and I'd rather not preempt myself. Was it one of our people? Okay. All right. Well, we'll have something more official tomorrow. Well, they are continuing to work. As you well know, this is a very complicated and complex endeavor. And the timeline that we set, we certainly wanted to be able to meet that, but there were still issues that had to be worked out with the undergrounding. Our city administrator is here. I don't know whether he wants to add anything to that or not. Was he trying to catch the streetcar? But we are continuing to work on that. The city administrator, of course, is chairing the undergrounding task force, but the meetings and discussions are continuing on quite actively.
My understanding is the holdup is Clemco, and the holdup is as regards the package, as regards who's going to finance it, and that the ratepayer does not bear the burden of that cost.
Well, I don't know that I would characterize anything as a holdup at this stage. I would characterize it more as I'm sorry.
It was due the end of January. There's some holdup, right?
Well, I don't know if if I characterize it as a holdup. You know, the date that we established was simply based on what we thought was possible. And as discussions continued, it was clear that there were more complex issues involved in this than we might have even anticipated at the beginning. So I would say that the discussions are continuing. I think we're making progress. That's what I measure by, whether we've hit the date or not, but are we making progress on solving the issues that were known and those that emerged once we got further into this. So we're making progress.
If you don't mind, can I go back to the driver's license, because your Office of Neighborhood Engagement has put it out. It says it will be a bill to allow all eligible district residents the right to obtain a driver's license or DC identification card, regardless of citizenship or immigration status. Please come and voice your support to stand united with thousands of undocumented residents here in the district.
I really want to wait on the details until tomorrow, Tom. We'll take care of them, all right. Matt.
There's some talk in DC Council about taking a stand on the Redskins' name. Is that something that you would sign off on if it gets through Council?
I saw a tweet yesterday about that. I haven't had a discussion with any council members about any of this. I look forward to it. I don't even know who is proposing to change the name. I saw a proposal yesterday, which reminded me of the Tuskegee Airmen, frankly, because the name that I saw was the same name as the name of the movie about the Tuskegee Airmen. But I know nothing about it other than that, man.
Do you think it's worthwhile for anybody at the Wilson Building to, get involved in this, just even if it's just, a resolution proclaiming your stance on it? Any value to it?
I don't. It's an issue. The team is a part of the landscape of the city, and sports teams, professional sports teams, are inextricably tied to the way a jurisdiction operates. I mean, you look at Baltimore when they just won the Super Bowl. You had public officials very involved in that activity. So it hardly surprises me that there would be people who would be weighing in on this issue. It's something that, was brought up once or twice at one of these press conferences. So, it was assumed that I would have an opinion by virtue of people asking me the question about it. So I don't doubt that there'll be continued discussion that will involve public officials. People have opinions, and it doesn't surprise me either with the talk continuing to mount about bringing the team back to the city that wouldn't be a part of the discussion. Mike?
Does that particular name, the Red Tails, does that appeal to you at all?
Well, it was a nice name of the movie for the Tuskegee Airmen.
Chairman Mendelson and some of the other council members have introduced a bill proposing to move the primary next year from April 1st to mid-June. Have you had a chance to look at that? Do you have a reaction to it? And do you think that would affect your own decision regarding your run next year?
I didn't know it was going to be introduced yesterday. I didn't even really know much about the bill. I had heard talk to somebody who was thinking about it, but I didn't even know that was coming yesterday, Mike. Not yet. I want to see the bill and see what it proposes to do, and then I'll be happy to discuss it.
Mr. Mayor, on that subject, you have not said anything publicly, but you have privately talked to some people about maybe supporting you if you decide to get in. What is your timetable?
How do you know I privately talked to anybody? I don't have a timetable on anything at this stage, Tom. I have a timetable on getting our budget finished. We have our next town hall meeting tomorrow night. It will be our 8th ward meeting. I want to invite you all out. We had a town hall meeting for women at their request last Saturday, and we got one for youth this Saturday. I think, Sheila, we've had, 10 or 11 town hall meetings this year? Anybody who wanted to know something about the budget had every opportunity to be with us.
Have you made any changes in your proposal based on all these meetings?
In the budget?
Yes.
No. That wasn't the intent. The intent of the budget town hall meetings was to inform people and to listen to what people had to say. People have given us feedback on a variety of issues. Actually, I'm really pleased with the response we got into the budget. People seem very happy with the budget for the most part this year. However, we did a number of meetings before we went out, before we even submitted the budget, and we demonstrate that 30-plus organizations we met with, and that certainly influenced what went into the budget in the first place. Campaign to be able to get a good budget approved by the Council of the District of Columbia.
Representative Franks has introduced legislation that would ban abortion in the district after 20 weeks.
What was that?
Representative Franks of Arizona, a Republican, has introduced legislation to ban abortion in the district after 20 weeks. Have you had conversations with him since he introduced that legislation last year? Has there been outreach to Republicans on that issue?
Yeah, well, I understand it's coming back. I would invite him to run for the Council of the District of Columbia. It would give him a lot more legitimacy in terms of the issues affecting the people of this city. I see we've been joined by Councilmember Mary Che, and I want to invite her up. She came out today. She's the chairman, of course, of our Committee on Transportation and the Environment, and obviously has an extraordinary interest in the streetcar issue. So I want to ask Councilmember Che if she would say a few words.
Good morning, everybody. You know, we've talked about this and talked about it, and I've seen pictures, but until now, it hasn't quite been real. So I'm very excited to be here, and I think this is, you know, just another step forward in this effort that we have to make this city the most progressive and the most environmentally friendly and transit-friendly city in the entire nation. So I'm delighted to be here and good to see everybody.
Is that it? Terry? Okay. You back, Terry?
Yes.
All right. Director Bellamy has more information. Breaking news on the streetcars.
Okay, what I would like to give the press is that this is still a working construction zone. So what we're going to do is the mayor is going to, and the mayor will take some shots inside of the car because it's still a working progress. We cannot allow anybody to get in. We got to keep you off of the tracks. And my understanding is that the car is about 20 minutes away. If you want to stay to see the unloading of the second car, it's about 20 minutes away. So what will happen is that we're going to open the car, take some pictures with the mayor. You can do shots from the outside, but you cannot do shots from the inside, and then we'll be done. Yeah, Councilmember Che. Yeah, you can go with the mayor.
You and the mayor.
Yeah.